Alrighty, morning everyone, and welcome back to another beautiful video on this beautiful channel on another beautiful day. Alrighty, welcome back. In today's episode, I want to talk to you or with you about something that a lot of people have been saying recently and that I actually agree with, unfortunately. And that is that they, quote unquote, which is not all of them, but some of them, are gonna try to take your stuff at some point. I'm pretty sure that we all know who we are talking about. Over there in America, mostly blue folks, and over here in Europe, all kinds of green and red. So, the problem with that stuff is that, they're the government, so they are legally able to change laws in the way that they want to. So, even though it's not possible for them to do that right now, I don't think it's far-fetched to think that it would be possible for them in the future. Now, the likelihood, that is what's important. And while I do agree with a lot of people that say, that could certainly happen again, and I would say, yes, it could, I would say that the likelihood is far less likely than, for example, with the last robbery of gold and silver and all kinds of stuff in the US, which was approximately 1933, I don't know the exact date, but somewhere around there. And well, the last one in bigger countries here in Europe, like Germany, for example, or even more Eastern countries that were socialist or communist countries, couldn't basically have any of that there until like the 70s, which is really tough. And it's just incredible how evil and disgusting human beings can be. And it infuriates me even now thinking about it, even though I was born way after that. But it's just things like that where I'm just like, how disgusting can you really be? To rob someone that didn't do anything to you of their hard-earned money and not even be not even be in the position where you could be prosecuted for that because you are the law. Like, what is that? Anyhow, today I wanted to talk with you about that. And I wanted to talk with you about why I do think that it's possible, but why I also do think that it is avoidable and not particularly likely. And the main reason for that is back in 1933 in the US, for example, or also in the 1940s in Germany. Well, in the 1940s in Germany, that was basically just because the people that were the government back then were the pure evil and they had nothing better to do but to make lives miserable for everyone. But in the US, that wasn't really the case, right? People just, or not people, but the government just needed money and they couldn't print it because they couldn't get their hands on enough gold. They wanted to do some kind of social project, which was a great idea. Anyhow, so that's why they took people's gold, basically. Not all of people's gold, just people's currency gold that was worth more than $100 in face value back then. And I actually have a recent acquisition that fits in very nicely with that. Look at that. A $20 gold coin from 1883. So a pretty long time before gold got prohibited, and it survived that. Look at it. Beautiful. It's still a beautiful coin, and I bought that for spot. So there you go. Very epic. And things like that, right, are the things that were confiscated. Confiscated. My tongue doesn't really want to pronounce that, but you know what I mean. It got taken away from the people that actually owned it and got put into the government's pocket that didn't own it. So there's that. And the punishment for that was actually quite harsh. You would have to pay approximately, or not approximately, up to $10,000 in fines or like 10 years in prison or something like that. But then again, it wasn't really that relevant for most people because this was just currency. This was not someone's stacking and whatever life savings. It was just currency, but it was still theft at the end of the day. And but you could also keep all your gold jewelry and stuff like that and gold art things and stuff like that. And I think that a lot of people turn these into something that resembles a coin a little less. Let's put it that way. And, you can't really call that a similar thing to what happened in Germany, where you would just be killed if you didn't, give all your gold to the government. But that is something that I think is just not really gonna happen. Why? Well, it's pretty simple. There are a lot of laws that would have to be basically stomped before any of that could happen. That would leave marks. You would notice that. You would certainly notice that. And most people nowadays, with things like the internet and stuff like that, things spread very, very, very quickly. Right? So I really don't think that they would get a lot of gold. If you ignore the fact that the central banks are the main gold holders anyway, so they pretty much got all the gold that they need. But in general, it doesn't serve the same purpose as it did back then. It is not part of the currency system. It is not, even though, technically you could probably still buy something worth $20 with this. But, that would be, yeah, you could, but I don't know why you would. So it's not really part of the currency system anymore. Besides that, of course, it also doesn't have the aspect attached to it that most people have it, right? Most people have it. Most people, or had it. Most people had it back then. Most people had these in their, well, not these, but, like less gold coins of less extreme value. And also back like in Europe, gold stuff of less extreme value. Like, people had that. People had all of that. They knew what it's worth. They knew why they wanted to keep it. And it had a very significant role in society. It doesn't anymore. It doesn't. It's used for jewelry. Yeah, people love jewelry still to this very day. And more recently, I think it has actually become more popular because people want something that is actually worth something just because of fear of the future. And that is something that I can relate to very, very well, because my future is basically effed. But anyhow, I'm still doing my best and I'm still kicking and I'm not giving up no matter what. No matter what. Because freedom is really the only thing that if you give it up, you're never getting it back. So never give it up. Never. Never, 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 never. Anyhow, I digress. The main point why I do not think that they are actually going to do that anytime soon is mainly because it doesn't have the same standpoint in society that it once had. It wouldn't do a whole lot, right? If you would prohibit people from owning gold, it wouldn't do a whole lot, but upset a whole lot of people that own jewelry. Why would you want that? Why would you want that? There's no reason for that. There's plenty of other stuff to put your money nowadays. It's not that it would only be safe in gold. There's silver, first of all, which is impossible to prohibit. It's impossible to prohibit silver. Silver is made into everything that's around us nowadays. Everything contains silver. You can't ban that. Otherwise, you don't have an economy anymore. And if you don't have an economy anymore, it's not even like you're in communism, where the economy is just basically owned by the state, and the state doesn't know what the fuck to do with it, so at some point it dies. If you really don't have any economy anymore, which would be the case without silver nowadays, what are people gonna eat? What is this? Are we supposed to go back to the Stone Age? So that is not gonna happen. So what is the point in banning gold? People are just gonna buy silver. There's no reason for that. Right? And even if you would be able to somehow ban silver for the general public, do you think that's gonna work? Do you literally think that's gonna work if it's literally inside everything? No. So there's that. But what they will do at some point, and you watching this video right now, you can do something about that. You can vote someone into office that does not support that. They will tax gold at some point. And they also will tax silver. In most European countries, silver is already taxed. So it's coming in America. I can tell you that. I can guarantee you that. And you gotta fight for that. I can't do it for you because I'm not in the US, but you gotta fight for that. You gotta fight for your rights, for your freedom, so that you can keep collecting gold and silver. Jesus Christ. Like, what has the world come to? That you have to fight for the right to collect coins. Like, what is this? Oh man. It's funny and really sad at the same time. And yeah. But anyhow, you can do something about it. It's not too late to do anything about that. And if you're concerned about your future, I'm buying gold because if I have enough gold, I can just go wherever I want in the world and can just start a new life. And that's why I'm buying gold. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, maybe give gold a look. But that's no financial advice, it's just something that I do. So that's basically it. But wait, before you go, I've actually had some more recent pickups besides this beautiful $20 gold coin. Over here, I've got two more admittedly very worn down peace dollars, but you know, I still love my peace dollars. There's just no silver coin that compares to the peace dollar. I just love them so much. It's 1923 and 1922, which are of course very common dates, but for me, it's only about peace dollars. I want the biggest amount of peace dollars I can possibly get for a cheap amount of money, and look, we're actually making good progress. Maple Leaf Tubes, can really recommend that for collecting peace dollars. Very, very nice. Look at that. Yeah, getting somewhere. Really getting somewhere. And I've got another one, which is this one here. This is actually a bit of a nicer one. I think this is like a 1922 as well, so very common date. But this one is actually still reasonably nice. It's got the occasional scratch or something like that. I've not yet decided if it's going into the tube or if I'm just going to keep it in a capsule. I don't know yet. Yeah, and it's probably not worth a lot more than the silver value. Or no, not the silver value. Peace dollars are worth more than silver value, but the peace dollar value. But I want to keep nice coins nice. You know, they've been through a lot, and I just don't really want them to get scratched up even more. It is, at the end of the day, silver that was in circulation for a long time, so it probably won't care. But still, you know, doesn't really have to be a thing. But anyhow, that's pretty much it from me for today. And I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I really hope you don't forget that your freedom is your most important commodity. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Have a fantastic week, and until next time.